Welcome back. I don't know what to say. Pretty good night if you're a Canuck fan, though, isn't it? Anyways, 10 games in the NHL. They did play all 10. The plan is to play through. And for anybody who's concerned, apparently part of what's going on is the NHL doesn't want to pause things while the NFL and the NBA are still going, because then you're risking some things outside of just whatever we're going through right now, right? So, all of that being said, and with policies that are guaranteed to make everybody angry, let's go ahead and start things off with Philadelphia and Montreal. The Montreal Canadiens, a hapless franchise. Caden Primo, not good numbers coming into tonight. He would turn that around, and so would the hapless franchise. So it was Hart versus Primo, two goaltenders who, one in Primo's case is young, and his numbers haven't been great, and Carter Hart. For some reason, people don't think Carter Hart's very good. His numbers are all right. Early chances for the Flyers. The Habs get a power play. That was unsuccessful. Pressed by the Habs then, and they score. It's Lehkonen from Kulak and Romanov at 5:20. Solid start for the Habs, maybe because there's no fans in attendance, right? So the empty buildings are going to stay this way, rumor has it, until early in the new year. They just want to give it a couple weeks, and then in all likelihood there'll be some fans in attendance in Montreal games. Quebec's just trying to get out ahead of everything. Caulfield then has a shot that deflects away. He can't bury one. Hoffman has a chance to deflect wide. Habs get a power play. That was a no. And honestly, that first period was fantastic for Montreal. Second period, Willman scores from Van Riemsdyk and Hayes at 2:20. The Habs try to answer, and then Willman nearly gets another. The Flyers would press halfway through. There's a power play for the Flyers. Giroux had a chance that was saved. Much better period for the Flyers, and then they take the lead. It's Cates with his first NHL goal. There were a few of those tonight, from Brown and Sanheim at 19 minutes. Caulfield through 40 minutes had 7 shots. So Caulfield's getting opportunities. The puck's going to start going in at some point, right? Third period. Shots are 4-2 for the Flyers. 6 minutes into it, Sherratt has a blast go wide. Paling has a chance that saved. The Habs would press. And Dauphin ties the game from Sherratt and Savard at 14:21. And Montreal gets this into overtime. In the overtime, Habs control in the faceoff. Crossbar for Drouin. Couturier with a rush chance. That saved. The Flyers get a power play. Couturier fires one wide. It was a good-looking power play, but it's killed off. And then Sherratt's denied as he gets a chance out of the box. We're going to a shootout. And the shootout, Jonathan Drouin gets the winner. So Montreal wins this one in a shootout 3-2. Philadelphia drops to 11-12-5 with the shootout loss. Montreal goes to 7-21-3. All they need is a 15-game winning streak, and they're right back at 500. So the 3 stars are Drouin, Dauphin, and Sherratt. The shots are 19-8 Montreal in the first, 14-11 Philadelphia in the second, 11-8 Philadelphia in the third, and in the overtime 6-2 for Philly. Final shots 40-39 in favor of the Montreal Canadiens. Both teams 0 for 2 on the power play. Hits 22-13 for Montreal. Carter Hart 38 saves on 40 shots. Primo 37 saves on 39 shots. Who expected a goalie battle? And that's what we got. All right, moving along. Ottawa and Tampa. So tonight's games, there were 9 on at the same time for a while there. So I watch what I can, right? One person. Forsberg versus Vasilevsky in the battle between Ottawa and Tampa, the rematch from Sunday, of course. Shots are 3-1 for the Sens at 5.5 minutes. The Bolts would press at 6.5. The shots were 4 apiece with 9 minutes left. I thought Ottawa played a very good road period. They really did. Sanford has a rush chance that's saved, and then Shabbat kind of putting the team on his back and saying, all right, I'll take it. He scores unassisted at 15:43. And the Sens were playing with 5 defensemen as Zaitsev had exited. I think every team was playing shorthanded by the end of the game or from the start of the game on. So it's 1-0 Ottawa after 1. Second period, early rush chance by Tkachuk is saved. And you're thinking, could it happen again? The answer is no. Killorn scores from Colton and Hedman at 30:47. Killorn just decided to go around Forsberg. They couldn't get when the puck was shot at him, he got it. So just go around him. Sens have a 3-on-2. Shabbat's chance is saved. Good flow, back and forth action at this point in the game. Shots are 8-5 for the Senators at the half. The Bolts get a power play, unsuccessful. They did pressure after the power play ended. They end up with another power play. They score on this one. Hedman from Radish and Stamkos at 15:05. So Hedman with a goal and an assist. Senators would try to answer. There was a late power play for the Bolts. It becomes a 4-on-4, rolling over into the third period. everything's killed off early in the third. We get back and forth chances that follow. The Senators press at 8.5 minutes. Gambrella's a chance that's saved. Tampa Bay gets a power play. That was unsuccessful. With 3:50 left, the Bolts get another power play, and of course what they're doing here now is they're just killing the clock. So it doesn't succeed. As it ends, Formenton had a pretty good chance shorthanded, although by the time he gets the shot, I think it was 5-on-5. So the goaltender gets pulled with 1:30 left, and unsuccessful. Ottawa's unable to get a point in Tampa. Tampa wins this one 2-1. Tampa wins again, 19-6-4, but they're not pretty wins, are they? The Senators 9-17-1. Your 3 stars in this one: Hedman, Stamkos, and Shabbat. So Vasilevsky has a great game, not even in the 3 stars because it's expected. Shots 7-6 Ottawa in the first, 12-9 Tampa in the second, 10-9 Ottawa in the third. Final shots 27-26 in favor of Tampa Bay. Again, Ottawa had a good game. Special teams, kind of the difference here. 0 for 2 for Ottawa, 1 for 5 for Tampa. Final hits 33-27 in favor of the Senators. Forsberg 25 saves on 27 shots, very good game. Vasilevsky saves 25 out of 26. Solid game for Vasilevsky as well. And Tampa Bay rolling just a little, because down the road, Florida is in trouble. So Florida, before the game started, we knew they were really shorthanded. A lot of new guys in the lineup, and they get a lot of shots, but it just didn't feel like it was Florida's night, did it? So it's Quick versus Bobrovsky. There's an early power play for the Kings. That was unsuccessful. The undermanned Panthers with a good start. There was a lot of young guys in this lineup. Kings press with 9.5 minutes left. Power play then for the Panthers. Duclair was denied. His next shot missed the net, and it's killed off. Arvidsson has a chance out of the box. That's saved. And then Kierstead scores his first NHL goal for Florida. I was impressed by him last year in his call-up, so I'm glad he got a goal in this one. He scores from Huberdeau and Reinhardt at 14:56. Then the Kings press. Bobrovsky makes saves there. However, at 17:05, Mata scores his, I believe, first of the season as well, from Grundstrom and Moore. So it's 1-1 after one. Second period, early power play for the Kings. Iafallo can't bury one. It's killed off, but not long after. Kopitar scores to tie up the game, or to put them in the lead, I should say, 2-1, from Dursey at 3:27. So Sean Dursey continuing to get points in his call-up for the Kings. Shots are 6-3 for LA at the half. Really good period of hockey for them. Kings press with 7.5 minutes left, and Brown would score from Roy at 12:58. Almost said Raw, because Raw's here and Roy's here. Panthers would then get a power play. They had opportunities in that second period, but Jonathan Quick continues to turn back the clock. So we go to the third period with it 3-1 for LA. Panthers press, nothing in the middle of the ice for them, though, at this stage of the game. Lindell had a chance that deflects away, and then Kaliev would score from Lizotte at 7:02. Panthers would try to answer. They get a power play. That was unsuccessful. They get another power play, also unsuccessful. So the power play hurts Florida tonight. They end up losing 4-1 at home against the Kings. Again, a lot of players out for them. The Kings 13-10-5 on the season with the win. Yes, they were without Doughty as well. Florida 18-7-4 with the loss. And it just feels like it's rolling in the wrong direction for Florida, right? It was even before this, but this may make it worse. 3 stars are Quick, Kopitar, and Kierstead. The shots 15-14 Florida in the first, 15-10 Florida in the second, 12-7 Florida in the third. Final shots 42-31 for the Panthers. Power plays 0 for 2 for LA, 0 for 4 for Florida. Hits 30-21 for the Panthers. Quick saves 41 out of 42. Bobrovsky saves 27 out of 31. And yeah, the Kings, they get the win. And again, you know, we can talk about how undermanned certain teams are, but they get the win. So when I was updating the power rankings board tonight, I thought, you know, I kind of have to go with the results and how the teams play and not punish a team like this for winning a big game on the road just because of injury and COVID list issues with the other team. So there's that. All right, moving along. Vegas. Vegas goes into New Jersey tonight. This ends up being a pretty entertaining game. I am aware that at the end, there was some feistiness. Leonard definitely getting into it with the Devils. We've seen Robin Leonard's temper on the ice before. I don't think that I'd want to tick the guy off personally. So it was Leonard versus Blackwood, and at 1:41, the Devils open the scoring. It's Hughes from Hamilton and Tatar. Then there was a too many men on the ice call against Vegas, and New Jersey goes to the power play. Vegas did kill that off, then they get a power play, and for 54 seconds they get a 5-on-3. Now the 5-on-3 is killed off, but during the 5-on-4, Coghlan scores from Smith and Marchessault at 10:27. So that one deflected in. Vegas was controlling since the Devils got that first goal, like it ticked them off or something. Janmark with a break chance. Blackwood makes the save there. It's 1-1 after 1. Second period. Carrier scores relatively early from Colasar and Howden at 3:47. Bratt and Hughes then had opportunities. They were denied by Leonard. Devils get a power play. The shots are 7-3 in favor of New Jersey halfway through. In the second half, Whitecloud had a nice opportunity, fires it wide, but it is 2-1 in favor of the road team after 2 periods, even though New Jersey had a very good second period. Third period, early press by the Devils. We get a power play for Vegas. That was unsuccessful, but 7 minutes into that period, the shots are 2-0 in favor of Vegas, and Vegas would take control. Carlson scores from Smith and Coghlan at 7:37, and then Raw would score from Janmark and Pietrangelo at 9:10. That was a nice rush goal, and you could feel the air come out of the building at that point because it's 4-1. And while New Jersey has the ability to come back, this is Vegas, and the odds are against them. The Devils then get a power play. To their credit, they score. Tatar from Severson and Smith at 10:03. So Vegas gets a power play, and so, of course, your concern would be, all right, so they're going to bury it. However, a shorthanded goal is scored by Jimmy Vesey, who's enjoying his time in New Jersey, from Siegenthaler and McLeod at 12:29. So very quickly, this game's gone from 4-1 to being up in the air. So the Devils get their opportunities, but the goalie pull with 2 minutes left gives the opportunity to Vegas to finish it, and they do. It's Marchessault from Carlson and McNabb at 18:53. They would pull the goaltender again. At the end of the game, the score is 5-3. Like I said, there was some dispute at the end of the game. It wasn't very friendly end of the game. So the next time these teams meet, we'll see if there's any spillover in that, or if Leonard might get the night off. They put Brossoit in. We'll see. Your 3 stars, because I believe this is the first of 2 meetings, right? Coghlan, Tatar, and Raw are the 3 stars in this one. Your shots, 13-6 Vegas in the first, 13-7 New Jersey in the second, 10-5 Vegas in the third. Just not enough shots on net for New Jersey in that third period. Final shots, 30-26 for Vegas. Power plays, Vegas goes 1 for 4. New Jersey goes 1 for 3. The hits were 15-6 for New Jersey. Again, Vegas just doesn't throw hits anymore, and it still weirds me out. Carrier's in the lineup, and they had 6 hits, which tells me Carrier threw all the hits. Leonard, 23 saves on 26 shots. Blackwood, 25 saves on 29 shots. So, yeah, pretty impressive road game for Vegas, who go to 18-11 with the win. And for New Jersey, they dropped to 10-13-5. They've now won 10 out of 28. They're into better luck next year territory. And now I need to change boards. All right. Detroit. So Detroit goes into Carolina tonight. Carolina's one of the teams, too, being dramatically affected by the number of players out of their lineup. But there were no new positives yesterday or today, so they're like, we're playing. Nedeljkovic versus Anderson. Carolina playing with 16 players. So they went with 10 forwards and 6 defensemen. And it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy that a team would play with 16 players, 10 forwards. Some of these forwards making their NHL debuts. So early Canes power play, pretty aggressive penalty kill by the Wings, but the Canes do score. It's Niederreiter from Fast and Podorowski at 2:05. The Wings get a power play. It's unsuccessful, but after that's done, Gagne scores at 5:32 to even up the game. The Canes look to answer, and they get it. It's D'Angelo scoring from Fast and Cook and Yemi at 7:36, and that was the result of a really good shift. So this game looked like last shot wins. Really did. Canes, so there's a press by the Canes with 6.5 minutes left. However, Larkin ties the game for Detroit from Raymond at 13:54. The Canes press for an answer, and Jack Drury, first game, first goal, made it look easy at 18:40, and Drury definitely gets that crowd going. And again, this is one of those good stories, right? Niederreiter's denied in the closing seconds, but it's 3-2 Carolina. Second period, Canes press at 2 minutes. Wings get a power play. It's unsuccessful. Anderson covered a net feed, and that's Anderson is in with an E-N. I don't know why I put O-N. But then Bertuzzi would score to tie it from Raymond and DeKaiser at 11:19. The Wings would then get a power play before the period's out. They do not score on it, but they're tied going into the third in Carolina. Not for long. A bad angle goal by Niederreiter at 18 seconds from Necas and Pesce. And one thing you always wonder is, because Nedeljkovic was a member of Carolina last year, so they'd probably have a book on where to shoot on him, right? That goal by Niederreiter, that was the first thing I thought was, he knows exactly where to shoot on him. Canes then pressed for another. Kotkaniemi with a rush chance. He fires wide. Raymond has a chance to deflect out. They'd pull the goaltender with around 2 minutes left. With 5 seconds left, Carolina ices it. It's Trocheck from Teravainen and Necas at 19:55. So Carolina wins this one 5-3. This feels like a big win for Carolina because, again, a lot of players out. Really, two players short of a full roster. They go to 27-1. Detroit drops to 14-13-3. Your 3 stars are Drury, Niederreiter, and Fast. Shots are 17-13 Carolina in the first, 9-8 Detroit in the second, 8-4 Carolina in the third. So Detroit kind of ran out of gas in that third period. Final shots 33-26 for Carolina. Power plays Detroit 0 for 3. Carolina scored on their only power play. Hits 15-12 Detroit. Nedeljkovic 28 saves on 32 shots. Anderson 23 saves on 26 shots. So Carolina comes through with a victory. That feels like a big one, doesn't it? Next up, Islanders. I know there's people out there going, that's what she said. I'm going to ignore it. So the Islanders at home against Boston. This is the second game in a row that Boston, without Marchand, right? It just feels different. You watch this team tonight, and they're without Bergeron, they're without Marchand, they're without a bunch of guys, and the heart's not there. And I mean the heart is in H-E-A-R-T and heart is in H-A-R-T, and whether it's Bergeron or Marchand that you see as their Hart nominee, it feels like it just wasn't there tonight. So it's Ullmark versus Varlamov, and Ullmark had a good game, but there's only so much he can do. Hall has a chance that was barely stopped by Varlamov, who looked a little shaky at points early, but he would have a recovery from that. Bruins get a power play, unsuccessful. Wahlstrom has a net drive that saved. The shots are 6-2 for the Islanders halfway through. Beauvillier can't bury one because of course he can't. Clutterbuck would score at 11:47, and again, it looked like the Bruins were flat, the same as they were against Vegas at this point in the game. It seemed very similar. The Islanders then would get a power play. It was unsuccessful. It's 1-0 going to the second period. There's an early power play for the Islanders, and they score on it at 1:44, and it's Beauvillier who finally gets a goal from Salo and Bailey. So it's 2-0 for the Islanders. The shots did favor the Bruins at this point, though, and they would favor the Bruins throughout the game. The Islanders had a 2-on-1. That's defended. The shots are 9-5 for the Bruins, 8.5 minutes into the period. Hall had a chance that was saved and held. Then Foligno and Martin had a fight. It was number 17 for the Bruins against number 17 for the Islanders. The Islanders come out of all this with a power play. They get chances, but the Bruins do kill it off. Goal line stand then on Pasternak by Varlamov. It was one of those ones that Pasternak's looking skyward after on the bench. So it's 2-0 going to the third. The Bruins get a power play. We then end up with 4-on-4 for a minute, and the Islanders had a power. There's power plays all over. Everything gets killed off. Doesn't matter. Everything gets killed off. So then with 9:35 left, the Islanders get a power play. The Bruins killed that off. Grzelcyk has a chance to save Nelson with a close call on a turnover by the Bruins. McAvoy fires one high. The Bruins offense just wasn't there. And when it was, Varlamov makes the saves. Islanders were hanging on late. They were guilty of too many own zone faceoffs. Goaltender gets pulled with 3 minutes left. That allows the Islanders to get the empty netter. And it's Clutterbuck with his second of the game from Lee and Chara at 17:43. That makes it 3-0. The only thing left was, would he get the shutout? And the answer is no. Mike Riley, of all people, gets the goal from Carlo and Ullmark at 19:06. So nobody saw that goal coming. They pull the goaltender again. Clutterbuck goes for the hat trick and he hits the post. So a post away from a hat trick for Clutterbuck. 3-1's your final. The Islanders go to 8-12-5 with the win. Boston drops to 14-10-2. And they're below the playoff line, and this is where those games in hand come back to bite you. You have to win the games in hand, and they didn't. So the 3 stars are Varlamov, Clutterbuck, and Beauvillier. There's already been a quote from Jonathan Drouin that he doesn't feel all that comfortable playing against the Bruins on Saturday because of the number of positive cases they've had on the team. I'm sure the Bruins are uncomfortable at times as well. Your shots are 10-8 Islanders in the first, 21-12 Boston in the second, and 12-6 Boston in the third. Final shots 41-28 for Boston. Your power plays, Boston 0 for 3 and the Islanders 1 for 5. The hits 26-22 for Boston. Ullmark 25 saves on 27 shots. Varlamov saves 40 out of 41. I will not take anything away from Varlamov. However, you could see that there's a lack of finish in the Bruins lineup when they're minus Bergeron and Marchand, as one might expect. So, for people who argue this is a one-line team with 2/3 of that one line out, and them not getting much more tonight than just the one goal with 54 seconds left, it definitely adds to that narrative. Okay, moving along. Nashville. I almost wore a Milwaukee jersey tonight. I thought about it. I have a home and an away Milwaukee Admirals jersey. And it was Francouz versus Saros, and there's no Makar. So Colorado Makar gets added to the list before the game. Didn't even have him in the news video. I'm going to start having fun with the whole list thing because I have to. I'm thinking about just doing a video a day where I just go through who's been added to the protocol list. And I might do it Chris Jericho style. Somebody mentioned it on Twitter, and I'd already been thinking that with the whole list thing. Like, yeah, it's time to do a Jericho thing. So we'll see if I end up doing that or not. Avs with a 2-on-1 that's defended. Pressed by the Predators. Francouz saves. The shots were 5-1 for the Preds at 6.5 minutes. Kadri can't bury a rush chance. Saros denies McKinnon. Carrier fires one wide, and then Forsberg scores from Carrier and Ekholm at 13:23. The Avs would then get a late power play that would roll over into the second period where the Predators killed off the rest of it. Then the Predators, they get their turn on the power play, and they score to make it 2-0. It's Jeannot from Sissons and Forsberg at 7:20. The Avs get a power play after that. There were a number of power plays in this game. A lot, actually. Rantanen would score on that one from Kadri and McKinnon at 9:57. So they break the goose egg a little under halfway into the game. The Avs get another power play. That one was unsuccessful. And then it's Forsberg with his second of the game at 16:48. Philip Forsberg with an absolutely fantastic game through 2 periods, and Nashville's up 3-1. Keep in mind, Nashville with a lot of players on the list. And what was interesting, too, was they tried to show the list of players that were in the lineup. They needed 2 cards. Normally, you can show, okay, here's the list for this team, here's the list for this team. They had to show the entire list for Nashville and then the list for Colorado. It is insane. Third period, power play for the Predators. That was unsuccessful. They would press shortly after, and Francouz makes saves on that. Newhook with a rush chance. He fires wide. The Avs get a power play. Kadri's tip was saved. And just after the power play ended, Nichushkin scores for Colorado from Rantanen and Girard at 9:12. With 8:05 left, the Predators get a power play, and they score on it. It's Yossi with the power play marker from Sissons and Jeannot at 12:19. Colorado pulls the goaltender with 2 minutes left. That allows the empty net goal to happen. It's Ekholm from Carey at 18:52. Nashville wins 5-2 over Colorado. Colorado 17-8-2 with the loss. Nashville 18-10-1 with the win. I saw a comment before tonight's game started saying, will Colorado ever lose a game again? Yes. And yes, I blame that commenter for it happening. That's absolutely what happens. 3 stars, Forsberg, Sissons, and Jeannot. Hey, if I have power, so does everybody else. So your shots are 11-10 Colorado in the first, 17-3 Nashville in the second. 17-3. And then 12-8 Colorado in the third. Final shots 35-26 for Nashville. Power plays 1 for 4 for Colorado, 2 for 5 for Nashville. And yes, this run by Nashville does probably need a video, right? Your hits are 22-13 for Nashville. For people who think my videos are a jinx against good teams playing well, no, don't. Francouz saved 30 out of 34. I thought he played all right considering he hasn't played at all this year. Saros saves 24 out of 26 at the other end and continues to be an amazing story for Nashville, even though he is a short goaltender, which people will tell you means he's not a very good goaltender, but they're wrong. So there's that. And yes, they are wrong. You can tell them. I don't care. All right, Buffalo. Buffalo might have played the best game they've played all year. Minnesota might have played one of the worst games they've played all year. Discuss. So it's Luukkonen versus Talbot. The shots are 3-3, 3.5 minutes in. Nice synergy there, right? Sabres get a power play, unsuccessful. Really good first half for the Sabres, but then at 10 minutes and 11 seconds, Merrill scores from Kulikov and Hartman. So It's a first goal for Minnesota, and this kind of feels like, well, that's how things work with Buffalo. They play well, they allow a goal, and then they allow a bunch more, and they lose. Talbot, though, stole that first period. It was all Cam Talbot. Second period, Dumba drills Okposo. Nice hit by Dumba there. Sabres get an early press. Thompson with a break. Dumba defends on that. Sabres, no shots for the first 5 minutes, but they would get their shots and they'd get a goal. It's Cousins from Yoki Haru at 8:05. The Wild press, they draw a power play. It's a 4-minuter. So 4-minute power play. The Sabres killed it off. However, in the last minute of that period, Kaprizov scores from Goligoski and Spurgeon at 19:04. So that makes it 2-1 in favor of the Minnesota Wild. Third period. Early press by the Wild. Bukestad has a chance that saved. Hartman hits a post during a 3-on-2. Okposo has a shot that deflects out. The shots are 4-3 for the Wild at 8.5 minutes. They're ahead 2-1. They just have to hold off Buffalo. Miller blocks a Hartman shot. Spurgeon had left the bench. Spurgeon actually didn't finish the game, and after the game, Dean Evison said he could be out for a while. Jankowski twice couldn't bury one, and then he ends up with an assist on a goal by Pesek, his first of the season, from Hinostroza and Jankowski at 12:03. And it was a great pass by Vinny Hinostroza there. Rask then nearly answered for Minnesota not long after that. Yoki Haru headed out for some repairs. I think he took a puck to the face, so he headed out for repairs there. With 11.6 seconds left, Luukkonen robs Foligno. Absolutely robs him. So we go to overtime. Wild control on the face-off. Cousins has a shot that saved. Zuccarello has one that saved as well. Thompson has a chance on a turnover. Minnesota defends that to the outside. Hartman has a blast go wide. Fiala's denied because he's not allowed to get a goal. Okposo with a net drive. It deflects wide. And then Cousins was denied before the horn. So we go to a shootout. And in the shootout, it's Tage Thompson who gets the winner. Yes, Buffalo steals one in Minnesota. They go to 10-15-4 with a 3-2 shootout victory. Minnesota drops to 19-8-2. And Evison said they weren't good at the start, they weren't good in the middle, and they weren't good at the end. And I read that in Creed Bratton's voice, because that's who I see when I see Dean Evison. 3 stars are Thompson, Cousins, and Goligoski. Your shots are 21-6 in favor of Buffalo in the first, 13-6 in favor of Minnesota in the second, 11-10 Buffalo in the third, 3-2 Minnesota in the overtime, 40-32 in favor of Buffalo overall. Power plays, both teams go for 2. The hits were 23-20 for Minnesota. Luukkonen, 30 saves on 32 shots. Talbot, 38 saves on 40 shots. So, yeah, pretty big steal of a win there for Buffalo. Congratulations to them. And we'll see if Minnesota is able to bounce back for their next one. All right, now I need to change boards. Yeah, this is how much shorter the reviews are compared to the big 50-minute monsters when I don't get to see everything when they're all on at the same time, which is where we were. We had 9 games on at the same time at 6 o'clock my time. So it's Merzlikins versus Skinner in the Edmonton-Columbus game. This was the 6th and final game of a homestand for Edmonton. They'd lost the first 5. Too many men on the ice call. Columbus power play right away, and that's not a good start. But the Oilers did kill it off. The shots are 3-1 Columbus at 5 minutes. Roslovic has a rush chance that's saved. The Oilers press, they draw a power play, and then there's an extended 5-on-3 for the Oilers. I know the Oilers are struggling. You can't give them an extended 5-on-3. Puljujarvi scores from Barrie and Draisaitl at 7:24. During said 5-on-3, and then 5-on-4, they score again. It's Puljujarvi from Nugent Hopkins and McDavid at 8 minutes and 10 seconds, and then Ryan scores from Perlini at 11:07. We get 4-on-4 play not long after that. But Perlini had a big night. Remember, he cleared waivers this past week. So 3-0 Oilers after 1. And I'll admit it, I put the records up there when I saw it was 3-0 after 1. I was like, yeah, that's the Columbus isn't winning this. Columbus then gets a power play in the second. Bjorkstrand had a shot that was saved. It was killed off. At that point, Columbus is 0-for-3 on the power play. And that's where they would end on the night. They don't get another power play. McDavid has a centering pass that's blocked, pressed by the Oilers at 8.5 minutes. Shots, though, are 7-5 for Columbus halfway through the period. McDavid with a rush chance, that draws a power play. That was unsuccessful. The Oilers go back to the power play, 2-for-4 at this point. Columbus survives those back-to-back power plays. However, Perlini scores his first of the season. It's about time. From Cassian and Bouchard at 16:41. I like Brandon Perlini. The effort's there. Now he gets a goal and an assist tonight. So we go to the third. It is 4-0. The shots are 4-2 for the Oilers at 4 minutes. Bayreuther has a shot that's saved, and then Nyquist roofs one from Sillinger at 6:28. And it's 4-1. But you could kind of feel like, okay, Edmonton can't blow this, right? So Voracek tried to go through 3 Oilers, which was a valiant effort. It's not going to work. He wanted a penalty for somebody tripping him, but he's trying to go through 3 guys. Somebody's going to take him down. Columbus with a 3-on-2. Skinner saves on that. Near miss for Puljujarvi. He was looking for the hat trick. And then Bean ends up hitting the post. The Oilers clear it out there. But Danforth would score his second for Werenski at 16:36. That makes it 4-2. And suddenly a little tense. They would pull the goaltender with 3:15 left. The tension goes out of the game pretty quickly after that. Puljujarvi with a nice diving play to get it to Foegele. Foegele hits the empty net at 17:06. So Foegele, Perlini, and Ryan had goalless droughts of 22, 22, and 21 games, I believe. Not sure which ones were 22 and 21, but I think it was 22, 22, 21. So those goal droughts are done. For Edmonton, they get their first win in 7. They go to 17-11. I'm not going to say it was my video that turned it around, but sure it was. And then Columbus, they go to 14-13-1 with the loss. Your 3 stars are Puljujarvi, Skinner, and Perlini. The shots 14-10 Edmonton in the first, 15-14 Edmonton in the second, and 16-14 Edmonton in the third. Final shots 45-38 for the Oilers. Power plays 0-for-3 for Columbus, 2-for-5 for Edmonton. Hits 24-18 for Columbus. Merzlikins saves 25 out of 29. Korpisalo goes in the third, saves all 15 shots he faced. And Stuart Skinner, 36 saves on 38 shots. I don't know, tonight kind of tells you maybe they should be playing him more. I have no idea why they don't play him more than they do. Why Koskinen gets played as much as he does, because it's not like Skinner has bad numbers. Not like if you look at Korpisalo and Skinner next to one another, their numbers are that divergent from one another, so it's odd. But it's the Oilers. They do things that are odd. It's just that's how they are. All right, last up, Vancouver. I don't know. You know, this just, I felt like I was okay tonight with them losing. In my mind, I was like, okay, I'm okay with this. And we'll get into why. So it's Demko versus Hill. And San Jose's had a decent start to the season, right? It's kind of started unraveling lately, but they've had a good start to the season. Now, they have to look at the standings and say, okay, the Canucks are coming up. We've got to make sure we take them out. And early on, it looked like they were going to. It was all Sharks early on. 5 shots in the first 2 minutes. The shots 5 minutes into this are 6-3 for San Jose, and it looked like they could absolutely take the Canucks down. Bonino can't bury one. Wide open action. Few whistles as well. Myers denied by Demko. Dahlin has a chance to save. The Sharks were pressing, and then kind of against the flow of play. At 12:41, Besser scores from Pearson. You know, I did the Besser pose and everything because, you know, that's what I do. I go track down my wife in the house and do the Brock Besser pose and all that. So the Sharks would press with 5.5 minutes left. There's a power play then for the Canucks, and it's Bo Horvat scores on the power play from Miller and Hughes at 16:23. And I say out loud to the TV, what is happening? Because it's 2-0 Vancouver, and yet I didn't think they'd outplayed San Jose. So Hertl has a net drive soon after. That's saved, but then Meyer would put it in the net from Carlson and Hertl at 17:22. I believe that's Timo Meyer's 100th goal. But yeah, 2-1 in favor of Vancouver after 1. But still, I'm watching this, I'm going, okay, but I'm okay with them if they don't win this because, you know, they're on the road. It's San Jose, and San Jose is going to be tough. And, you know, San Jose lost to Seattle, and they're going to be, you know, looking for some level of victories the rest of the way after that happened. But second period, early press by the Sharks. Hertl can't bury one. Sharks had chances of 4.5 minutes. Carlson with a rush chance. The Canucks did defend that out. They get a power play, do those Canucks. It's unsuccessful. In fact, they didn't get a shot on it. It looked kind of disoriented and not very well planned out. And the Canucks had no shots in the first half. So again, I'm thinking, okay, so they're kind of sloppy for their games recently. Demko then stops a Halbgewachs break chance. And I knew when I saw Halbgewachs was in the lineup, I was like, I'm going to have to say his name, aren't I? The Sharks get a power play, and it was Myers with what they said was a head check. I didn't really see much there, but again, that's what they called. So I think those automatically go to Department of Player Safety. And it's Myers, so you never know. Gregor has a shot that's saved. They did kill it off. There were 2 shots for San Jose during that power play. and they were already down Brisebois. So since they were down to 5 defensemen, when Myers is in the box, they're down to 4. Canucks finally getting some shots. Dickinson can't bury one in close. Demko holds on with Hurdle on the doorstep. And then Besser at 17-17 from Miller and Pearson just roofs it. The first one was an instinctive goal. The second one was precision. And so Brock Besser has, I think, 5 goals in his last 6 games. People still want to trade him. I don't. He's not very fast. Who cares? He gets goals all the time. He's so one-dimensional, but what a dimension it is. And this is where they announced too shortly after Brisebois would not return. The good news is Pullman's returned 2 negative tests today. If he has another negative test, he is eligible to play in Saturday's game. So that's the good news for the Canucks because they need it. Noah Juleson was in the lineup tonight. Juleson was probably played a little too much. Remember, Brisebois out, Myers in the box and all that. I think Juleson was okay. There were some mistakes. He probably won't be in the lineup the next game. Third period, Podkolzin, who had taken a puck in the face in the second period, he got all stitched up, so he's back at the bench in the third. Vlasic has a chance that's snagged. Dickinson with a break, he's denied. Jason Dickinson's getting opportunities, just nothing going in the net. We'll see if how this game ends up turning his season around a little bit. Canucks get a power play. Pettersson with a one-timer, that's saved. And at least Pettersson's firing that one-timer now, so that's the good news. Crossbar for Horvat as it ends, or crossbow. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Brent. I'm so sorry. Dickinson was then denied again. Canucks press after that. And then Cogliano scores for San Jose from Peterson and Burns at 8:29. And again, that voice in the back of my head's like, this could happen. You know, this is California. You know how things turn out in California for the Canucks sometimes. Then there's a glove save on Miller that's held. Carlson ends up hitting the side of the net as San Jose is trying to tie it. Momentum was all Sharks now. Demko denies Couture, but Miller at 17:32, he puts the Canucks back on top by 2, makes it 4-2. So they pull the goaltender with 1:15 left. Kyle Burrows gets it up to Pettersson. Pettersson could have put it in that net. He gave it to Dickinson. Dickinson with the empty netter. That's the second of the season. And Vancouver, a feel-good story right now. 5-2 win. They go to 14-15-2. 6 wins in a row. They're this close to 500. It's something to say, but respectable, I'll take respectable. With the loss, San Jose drops to 15-14-1. They're now only 1 point ahead of the Vancouver Canucks. They have games in hand, but they're only 1 point ahead, and there's a lot of games left. So your 3 stars are Besser, Horvat, and Miller as the Canucks stay 4 points back of a playoff spot. I do believe because Edmonton won as well, and they were 4 points behind Edmonton. Your shots, 13-10 San Jose in the first, 12-5 San Jose in the second, 15-11 Vancouver in the third. Final shots, 36-30 for San Jose. Vancouver had some very good rushes and pressures during that third period. It was impressive. Power plays, Vancouver 1 for 3. San Jose only had the 1 power play. They didn't score on it. Your hits, 30-17 for San Jose. Demko saves 34 out of 36. And Hill saves 25 out of 29. With that win, Bruce Boudreau is the 6th coach in NHL history to win the first 6 games he's coached behind a team's bench. The record is 7, and that was Jacques Lemaire for the Devils. We know what Jacques Lemaire and the Devils did. So, just throwing that out there, here we are. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. I don't know, I thought we had a pretty interesting, unpredictable night of hockey. Be interested to see what happens from here. Fingers crossed those lists start to shrink, or at least stop growing. One or the other. I'll take both. Honestly, I'll take both. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.